Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Can you guys believe there are over 18,000 cryptocurrencies now in the space and over 500 exchanges that are being tracked here by CoinMarketCap? We got the market cap has been, sitting at about $2 trillion over the last little while. We haven't seen much movement with regards to market cap, and it's because the market has just been trading sideways, and we haven't really seen any difference too with Bitcoin dominance. It's just been hovering in and around that 40, 41, 42% level. So what we have here right now, cryptocurrencies or the cryptocurrency market, still, basically moving with Bitcoin. Bitcoin down about 0.07% within the last 24 hours. We got Ethereum up 1.5 roughly. Binance Coin up a bit. Solana up 1.7. XRP up 0.66. So not too much movement in the space. Single digit gains, if that. So, when are we going to see that next pump, and how significant will it be? More importantly, if you're not so focused on Bitcoin, because we know Bitcoin is not really going to see those, those magnificent gains that we will expect in the altcoin market. Bitcoin has already rallied quite a bit since 2020. So the altcoins, that's where our focus is right now. And of course, XRP, one of those major altcoins that we're really anticipating big gains with. So XRP right now trading at about 77.5 cents as of the time of this recording. Hasn't really moved too much. On the grander time frame though, this is the daily chart. Grander time frame, this is extending out to look like a very, very nice bullish pennant pattern. You can see the wild volatility is slowly dying, and we are not making lower lows, which is also a very, very nice thing to notice here. Not making any lower lows. We're not looking bearish. It's essentially just following the beat of Bitcoin. I'll bring up the Bitcoin chart real quickly here. Bitcoin, let me get rid of that. Bitcoin in a reaccumulation phase. To me, I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest this is not the height of the market. And I've talked about this in several of the videos that I've done. Throwing a Fibonacci from the top of the last bull market down to the trough of the bear market. I know what we've said in the past, that Bitcoin has basically reached the top, the 4.236, almost $70,000, which was kind of where that estimate was. The top would bring us to about 73.3. However, that's just one indication that would suggest the top of the market. There are other indications here that lead me to believe that we have not reached the top of the market, like for example, low trading volume. Here you can see during these peaks, Bitcoin was trading on low volume, even though it did make a new high, a new all-time high. It was trading on low volume. And what did we see during previous bull runs? In 2017, we saw Bitcoin trading on high volume. We saw a spike in volume down and around here. Same thing with 2013. If I bring it back to 2013, you can see that here. 2013, here's the peak, and a lot of high trading volume over here. So, you compare that to what we're seeing now, and we're just not seeing the volume. We're seeing very, very low volume. And the structure of this top is also a very different structure than what we have seen in the past. We're almost seeing like a double mountain structure here, not forming any new lows, so still forming new highs, trading on low volume. And so, this very, very different than what we have seen in the past with these stark moves up, big move down, the retrace to the 0.702, and then the collapse. Same thing with 2013. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I've talked about this ad nauseum here. Down, move back up to the 702, and the drop down. So these were good indications in the past of when we could presume that an altcoin rally would occur. Bitcoin has been very, very predictable. And now, we're just not seeing that same pattern. We're seeing kind of this double mountaintop with a slightly new all-time high, which leads me to believe that we're actually not at this point in the cycle yet. And, there's still this idea that we could be in a prolonged bull market and that Bitcoin will continue to rally. Altcoins will follow after. And so what kind of gains could we see? Well, if Bitcoin continues to rally and if altcoins continue to rally as well, not only would we see good gains for Bitcoin, well, altcoins tend to rally harder because of their low market cap. We would see even bigger gains for altcoins. One more thing I just wanted to mention here real quickly. The time frame it takes from the bottom, from the trough of the bear market all the way to the high has gradually increased over time. If you guys can see here, bottom of the market up to the top back in 2011 to 2013, we saw it took about 745 days. If we look over here for the 2017 bull run, from the bottom to the top, we saw that took a little longer, 1,068 days, and this is gradually occurring over time. Every bull run has taken a little longer and a little longer. And now if we were to compare that with today, if we were to assume that this is the top, we would also have to assume that it is taking the exact same amount of time, roughly within a few days, 1,062 days versus 1,068 days. So, I mean, give or take, let's say, just for sake of argument, that is the exact same amount of time. We would have to assume that the trend would break, that it's taken the exact same amount of time for Bitcoin to reach this high of $69,000 before its collapse. And, we still just haven't even seen Bitcoin collapse yet. So how can we assume this, especially when we are in a different situation in 2022 than we were in 2017? Remember, the atmosphere surrounding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies today is very, very different. I'm going to bring you guys some headlines here just to give you guys a sense of where I'm going with this. So this from Bitcoin Magazine, breaking. Madeira is to adopt Bitcoin. I believe in the future and I believe in Bitcoin, says the president. Now, if you guys do not know where that is, it is a set of islands off the northwest coast of Africa, and it belongs to Portugal. So a small, tiny nation here that is doing the same thing as they're doing in El Salvador, allowing Bitcoin to be a legal currency for exchange of goods and services. Interesting to see this trend, guys. Michael at Val5Links also bringing this to our attention. Honduran officials announced on April 8th that the country will now accept Bitcoin as legal tender, but only in the special economic zone called Honduras Prospera. So Honduras also brought this to the table. They are limiting its use, so it won't be for the entire country. Honduras Prospera was established in 2020 as an economic development hub to attract investment in entrepreneurial opportunities. Located on the island of Roatan, about 65 kilometers off the northwest coast of Honduras, it boasts a tropical climate and a burgeoning infrastructure with plans to turn the area into a futuristic enterprise paradise. Here is a quote: "The hub enables a new model of economic development that is locally sustainable and globally integrated on one of the Caribbean's most beautiful islands. Roatan Prospera offers new opportunities for growth in Honduras to businesses and individuals." So they are saying, yeah, we'll take your Bitcoin, but it's going to be only accepted in this specific area of the country. Obviously, what they're trying to do here is attract investors, rich people who have, perhaps jumped on the cryptocurrency craze several years back, made millions of dollars, and want to invest their money. So they are saying, yeah, we'll accept Bitcoin if you invest in our country. So that's an interesting way to frame it. Nevertheless, they are accepting Bitcoin as legal tender. So for example, they would attract individuals like this. This one brought to us by XRP Crypto Wolf. Mexico's second richest man, Ricardo Salinas, says his liquid portfolio is 60% in Bitcoin. The second richest man in Mexico owns 60% Bitcoin. That's his portfolio. Salinas is Mexico's third richest man. Okay, so sorry, not second, third richest man, and the world's 154th richest, with a net worth of over $12.8 billion, according to Bloomberg. At the Miami Bitcoin 2022 conference today, Salinas said he doesn't own any bonds, instead preferring to invest mostly in Bitcoin. This is up from 2020, when the business magnate admitted 10% of his portfolio was in Bitcoin, saying at the time that the asset protects the citizens from government expropriation. And here's a quote: "I definitely don't have any bonds," he said today. "I have a liquid portfolio. I have 60% in Bitcoin and Bitcoin equities, and then 40% in hard assets like stock, oil and gas, and gold miners, and that's where I am." So 60% in Bitcoin, and notice all his other assets. Hard asset stocks like oil and gas and gold miners. So hedging his bets against a collapsing system, just as a side note there. Third richest man in Mexico, Ricardo Salinas. You see where this is going, guys. More people are accepting that cryptocurrency is going to become mainstream. And here's just another point to add the icing: Bitcoin to be accepted by McDonald's and Walmart via the Lightning Network. So here's some more news coming out of the Bitcoin 2022 conference. Jack Mallers, founder of Zap, is bringing Bitcoin back to its roots with an announcement that his Lightning Network wallet Strike has partnered with Shopify, NCR, and Blackhawk Network. According to Mallers, any website that uses Spotify online card transactions can now process payments using Bitcoin's Lightning Network. The partnership is live right now and a massive step towards the mass adoption of Bitcoin. So not to sound like a Bitcoin maximalist, guys, because, this is not about Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is the leader. Bitcoin is what everybody is eyeing now. All the institutional money that is on the sidelines, it's good. I mean, we've got their attention now, right? We've got their attention, and, eventually they're going to invest in a multitude of different cryptocurrencies. But to get them in, Bitcoin was the bait, and then they will eventually diversify and, move into other cryptocurrencies. And I know a lot of them are already, but, just to the point, Bitcoin's in the news. Bitcoin's what's going to get the cryptocurrency market the recognition it needs for altcoins to really rally. And so this is why I'm bringing up all these Bitcoin articles right now. And it's almost like it's a war between the powers that be using a controlled new financial system and, some of these countries, Latin American countries, I gotta say specifically, Honduras, El Salvador, small island nations, also looking towards Bitcoin, using Bitcoin as legal tender. And then there was this, guys, central banks are bankrupt. And this is coming from Peter Thiel, a very influential voice in Silicon Valley. Also the co-founder of PayPal, he told tens of thousands attending the Bitcoin 2022 in Miami conference that central banks are bankrupt. Bitcoin is always the most honest market in the world. It's the most efficient market, and it's the canary in the coal mine. I mean, I don't know if I believe that 100%. However, this is what he was saying. It was telling us that the inflation was coming. In the past 2 years, it went from $5,000 to $6,000, up by a factor of 10x. It was telling us that the central banks are bankrupt. So this is the point that I really wanted to focus on. The battle that we're having right now between the centralized financial institutions that want to implement central bank digital currencies, that want to control us, that do not want us to have the freedom to purchase, and the cryptocurrency OGs, the Bitcoin maximalists that believe that cryptocurrency is a way out of the shackles. And so, I know there's, Bitcoin is being central to this, but I don't want you guys to think about it as a Bitcoin maxi or being an XRP holder. It's just crypto in general. We have to look at it as us versus them. So he says central banks are bankrupt, that we are at the end of the fiat money regime, and that's sort of what it has priced in. So he's talking about Bitcoin price with relation to this. I think central bankers, Mr. Powell, people like that, should be extremely grateful to Bitcoin because it's the last warning they're going to get. They've chosen to ignore it. They have to pay the consequences for that in the years ahead. And so inflation, that's something that is really real, and I think that, that is going to be something that people realize, hey, look, if I can hedge against inflation, because that's going to affect anybody who uses the US dollar, and not just the US dollar, inflation is happening worldwide. Anybody who's going to be affected by inflation, which is everybody, if you live on planet Earth, is going to come to the conclusion, I've got to make a choice. I can either safeguard my wealth or I can lose my wealth to inflation. And so how am I going to do this? I'm going to buy cryptocurrency. Of course, name recognition. Why not buy Bitcoin, especially since Bitcoin is in the news? But guys, this is the point. Everybody gets into Bitcoin first. Eventually, though, what people realize is they do more research and they understand the benefit of other cryptocurrencies. And so they diversify into altcoins. And so that's where I'm going to go today, looking at the altcoin market cap, looking to see where altcoins could go. And so here I have the TOTAL2 crypto market, guys. This is all cryptocurrencies, excluding Bitcoin. This is all the altcoins. You can see, first off, look at how the volume has gradually increased. I know there are some peaks and valleys, but ultimately, look at how volume has increased over the last even just 3 years with regards to altcoin transactions. A lot more volume since 2019 as there were pre-2019. So that's the first good sign that we are going to see a big altcoin pop once we see this bull run conclude, if we see this bull run conclude. So the other thing that I was talking about was that, this pattern here, if I were to extrapolate on the TOTAL2 market cap chart, this pattern here is a reaccumulation phase. So this, to me, not the top of the market like we saw back in 2017 where we saw the retrace and then the crash. That this is just reaccumulation. And so I think it's safe to say, and a lot of analysts have suggested this, that we have one more pop before the end of the bull run. And so if I were to compare it to 2017, that last leg up would be over here, which would mean that this last accumulation phase right over here is similar to what we saw over here in 2017. So let me get a lot of this junk off the chart here, and I'm going to take a bars pattern here, and I'm going to just grab that. All right, and I'm going to bring it over here. Now, this is the thing. Since there is so much more volume now in cryptocurrency than there was back in 2016, 2017, these patterns have gotten larger and wider and more volatile, I guess we could say. So when I take a fractal pattern from 2017 and I'm looking at it, I can see similarities in the moves, but it's not going to line up like you see traditional patterns line up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some liberties here. Again, guys, I'm just taking a look at chart patterns. We're going to look at more indicators in a second, but for now, what I want to do is I just want to kind of gauge based on what we've seen in the past, gauge if we were to extend this out, if we were to assume the market has grown, we can see the similarities between now and then, because really chart patterns are basically psychology plotted on a chart, right? If I were to bring this from the top, okay, and I've extended it out so that it's kind of in line here, you guys can see the similarities in this pattern, right? So taking that last accumulation from 2017, you can see a sharp move up, followed by a sharp move down, basing here in a level of support, sharp move up, sharp move down, basing, another bump down, and then the slow grind up, right? Slow grind up with another dip, another bump, down a bit, another bump, down a bit. And so now we're in this phase where we are looking to move up, similar to what we saw back in 2017. So we are seeing similar patterns here on the chart if we are to believe that this is the reaccumulation zone and that we are in for one last leg up in Bitcoin, which would take the altcoin market soaring to new highs. And so where could those new highs go, right? Well, I want to take a Fibonacci and I want to place it right over here, right where we saw that last move back in 2017. And I'm going to zoom in on this just to show you guys where we're at here. So the Fibonacci, bringing it to the top of that move in 2017 down to the bottom. Well, you can see the market even surpassed the 4.236. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up. It lines up actually perfectly with the 0.382 right over here. This peak here lines up pretty perfectly, getting up almost to the top there. So you can see that is basically a similar measured move to where we could see the market go in present day. So if I zoom back out on the chart and we were to take a Fibonacci and bring it up in here, let me zoom in one more time just to get it accurate. Okay, so if we take that same measured move and, even if we just take it from the top and, let's line it up here to the 0.382 as we did in the last example here. So, it'd be a similar measured move that would basically bring us up into here. Okay, and that would be, let's just see if we can get a price label on there. That would be a market move to about $10 trillion. So right now, guys, as we know, the market cap is at $2 trillion. So that would be 5x from $2 trillion at $10 trillion. And in that case, all things remaining equal, which I don't think they will. I think with the SEC lawsuit concluding, if these two things correlate, we could see more money flow into coins like XRP and even XLM as an extension. But even if we were to just take the price today, 77 cents, and we multiply that by 5, okay, that's going to get us back up to all-time high, roughly $3.85, right? That's roughly where we saw XRP's all-time high during the last bull run, $3 and change. On some exchanges, it was higher. But guys, could we be pleasantly surprised and see it go even higher than that? I don't know, could we? Let me take this fractal pattern and line it up here as if we are going to see the same types of measured moves as we did in the last bull run in 2017, making this the new all-time high right up here, guys. And so how big would the market cap be if we did see that same measured move? Well, it would be roughly $29-30 trillion altcoin cryptocurrency market. The current market is at $2 trillion, so we divide that by 2, multiply the current price of XRP by 15, and that would bring us, guys, directly in line with what our XRP targets are. And quite possibly, this could be even a conservative estimate. Let's not forget the SEC lawsuit and the clarity surrounding XRP if these two things end up coinciding. If there is going to be clarity surrounding XRP, and if we see the hysteria in the market, people moving more money into the market, institutional money flooding into the space as per, what Kevin O'Leary mentioned in a video I did just the other day, which I'll link up here if you guys didn't catch it. $11.55 would be conservative. I think it's quite possible we can go much higher than that, but that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.